and they asked... Wait, there's some weird stuff on here. He said Johnny Depp had his penis out. So yesterday was not a good day for Amber Heard and her lawyers. By the way, if you want a shorter version of this video, check out the TikTok. But if you want the longer version and you're from TikTok, hey, welcome. So let's start with the donations. This has been a point of contention for so long. Back in 2016, when Amber asked to get a divorce from Johnny Depp and then later on got a restraining order, she was labeled as a gold digger. A lot of news outlets were calling her out, and like some of Johnny's fans as well, I believe. And so in order to combat that, she was like, I'm not a gold digger. I'm going to donate all of my divorce settlement money to a charity. And that's what we thought she did. Now, Team Johnny, I think they were a little bit skeptical about this. They wanted to find out whether or not she actually donated to the ACLU and also the Children's Hospital, because she was going to split her $7 million divorce settlement to the two charities. This was also very important because in the London trial, the judge there cited that he didn't think that Amber Heard was a gold digger because she had donated her divorce settlement. And here's her in 2018 saying that she did donate the money.
There was a divorce settlement. You got $7 million. People were saying this is all about the money. But then you did something that... What did you do with that money?
$7 million in total was donated to... I split it between the ACLU and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
And she could have just misspoke. But the fact that is that she never corrected herself, and her and her lawyers continued to maintain that she donated all the money. Her and her lawyer, Elaine Brederhoff, called out Johnny Depp for accusing her of not donating the money, when in fact she didn't. She didn't donate the full amount yet, even though she claimed that she did. It wasn't until the ACLU records were released that her lawyer finally backpedaled and said, oh, it was actually a 10-year pledge. She is still planning to continue her contributions.
So it's fair to say that she has not donated $3.5 million as of today to the ACLU, true? That's right.
So here's what we got. $100,000 was donated by Johnny. $350,000 was donated by her. $500,000 was donated by Elon Musk.
We believe that that is a donor-advised fund that was set up by Elon Musk.
And then another $350,000 was donated to her. This last donation was in December of 2018, over 3 years ago.
$100,000 check from Johnny Depp, $500,000 payment from a donor-advised fund at Vanguard, and then there was a $350,000 payment.
Additionally, she wanted to make this donation anonymous. Why would she want to make it anonymous? Probably because she didn't want people to find out that she hadn't made all the contributions yet, like she said she did.
Well, the first donation wasn't anonymous, correct?
No, it was not anonymous.
Oh. Now, as far as the Children's Hospital, we know that as of June of 2019, she has not made a single donation. The only donation is the $100,000 that Johnny Depp had paid for her. They finally sent her a letter asking, hey, are you still going to make the donations? Because we haven't heard from you in about like 3 years. So Boza's True Crime makes a really good point. You guys don't know who that is, please go check her out. But she made a point that while Amber Heard was busy ghosting the Children's Hospital of LA, Johnny Depp actually volunteered at the Children's Hospital. He spent a whole day dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow and talking to all the sick kids in the hospital.
Yes. Stop it. Naughty, naughty. I think it is a leak. I wouldn't drink anything out of it. Otherwise, I don't know what... Oh!
We also find out from the ACLU that Amber Heard did not write her own op-ed.
Was it your understanding that it was Robin Schulman who prepared the first draft of the op-ed?
Yes.
Robin Schulman worked for the ACLU at the time, and they wrote the draft before they even met and talked to Amber.
Reflects changes that Robin Schulman made after she met in person with Amber Heard. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then this draft went back and forth between the ACLU and Amber's lawyers.
She says to Amber, apologies for the delay, but we have needed to pass this through quite a few lawyers.
And yes, ghostwriters do exist, but for Amber, she's supposed to be speaking out about her personal experience with what she had to deal with when she spoke up against domestic abuse.
Robin says, I tried to gather your fire and rage and really interesting analysis and shape that into an op-ed form.
And then we find out that the op-ed really was about their marriage. but they had to exclude certain information to make sure they were able to skirt around the NDA, that was agreement between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp when they had divorced.
And so when she's referring to fire and rage, that's Ms. Heard's fire and rage, correct?
Yeah, that's my read of this.
And the rage would be directed against Johnny Depp, who purportedly abused her, correct? She says, I want to make sure nothing was said in here that puts you in jeopardy with your NDA. What does that refer to?
The non-disclosure agreement that was entered into between Depp and Heard in connection with the dissolution of their marriage and the settlement agreement.
We also have the perfect timing for the op-ed to come out right after Aquaman is released.
This week to capitalize on the tremendous campaign for Aquaman. And didn't she tell the ACLU that she wanted the op-ed to come out just after Aquaman was released?
I do recall that there was a conversation about the optimal timing for the op-ed piece.
So next we have Edward White's testimony. When I'm older, I want to be as elegant as this man. He did such a good job during cross-examination, and you could just tell that Mr. Roddenborn was just getting on his nerves.
She initially was looking for a consideration of $4 million, but her demand continually increased. It went from $4 million to $5 million. Then it went from $5 million to $5.5 million. Then it went to $7 million. And then it was $7 million, and she demanded that Mr. Depp also pay $500,000 to her attorneys. Then she also said that all the community liabilities that were accumulated during the course of the marriage, which approximated $13.5
Sorry, there's an
million.
objection, sir. Whenever there's an objection, I'm sorry. If you can't hear it, I'll let you know. Okay?
Oh, thank you, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
no problem,
This just
sir.
goes into his allegations of what she said, which Your Honor just
All right, I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
May I continue? So the next demand was that all of the community liabilities that were unresolved, approximately $13.5 million, that Mr. Depp had to pay those liabilities in its entirety. She was demanding $14,250,000, and then it got worse. The next demand was that all of this consideration be paid to her free of taxation. And, Counselor, for him to pay $14,250,000 to Miss Heard.
Now, the way he does the storytelling was so suspenseful. And then she wanted this, and then she wanted that, and then this happened, and then he got even worse. Anyway, so you get the point. Now, Malcolm Connelly is going to talk about the physical injuries that he saw Johnny Depp sustain over the time of being with Amber Heard. Initially, he said there were some scuffs and scrapes, but then slowly they kept progressing to a little bit more, and he started noticing some, split lip and maybe some bruising and stuff like that.
And it would be scratches on his neck, maybe a fat lip in the corner, maybe a bruising on the eye socket, scratches maybe on below his left ear. Sometimes it'd be two marks, 2 lines, 2 trams, and it was getting more regular. As I say, not every week, but it was definitely happening. Yeah.
Now, during cross-examination, they did ask why did he not mention this during the London witness statement, and he simply said because he was not asked. So did not see any physical violence between the two, but did see things being thrown allegedly from Amber Heard.
One incident was on a private plane. I see a lighter, a plastic lighter, bounce off his chest, boom, bounce off his chest. I remember Johnny just sort of, smirking and looking away as if to say, well, what, is that it? Johnny tips his hat, puts his head against the window. Another time, he was at the loft apartment. There was a soda can, but it's launched from the mezzanine.
When the soda can was launched from the mezzanine, to your knowledge, was Ms. Heard present in the apartment at the time?
Objection leading.
Yes.
I'll allow
I could hear her. I never seen her physically, but I could hear her voice. Yes.
Okay. And where could you tell where her voice was coming from?
Upstairs, just upstairs.
And then we start getting into the Australia incident where things get a little bit nasty. He was talking about how Johnny Depp's finger was flapping around, and they asked, wait, there was some weird stuff on here. JD penis out, peeing, laughing. Okay, that's for a different video then. Anyways, here are some highlights from that.
But Amber appears from somewhere. Now, I don't know if Amber was upstairs or in the room to the left or wherever, but she appears and she's screaming, berating him. She's basically berating him. It's a mess. His finger's just a mess. It's like one of them cartoon exploding cigars. I always think in my mind that one of them cigars that blow up, the cartoons, boom, and it's so flapping around.
When you were in the presence of Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard in the house in Australia, How far away were you from Miss Heard?
Miss Heard appeared, and she's probably, well, you're talking 3 feet.
Did you observe any injuries on Miss Heard?
No injuries. No injuries.
I'll allow it.
I'm sorry, what was your answer?
No injuries. None. Yes, correct.
And Mr. Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he?
No.
Mr. Depp had his penis out of his
Objection.
He said Johnny Depp had his penis out. And then he makes a big statement about what he saw in Johnny Depp's face during the Malaysian train incident, where Amber Heard alleged that Johnny Depp was abusing her physically. I think she mentioned that he had grabbed her, choked her, ripped her dress, and then like slapped her a couple of times. But in this photo, Malcolm Connelly claims that you can see the bruise on one of his eyes.
If you look at that picture, like I said, on the left-hand side under his eye, there's a swelling. And you see a swelling just on the left-hand side of his nose and under his left eye.
And what do you interpret that swelling to be?
What do I interpret it as? That's either he's walked into a door or a door's walked into him.
Okay.
Now, Starling Jenkins, what a glorious name. Sounds like a sci-fi protagonist in a comic book series. And so Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they might have had a habit of just chucking each other's phones while they're in the midst of an argument. And in this testimony, Starling Jenkins had to find Johnny Depp's phone and he had to locate it. And this is what he had to do to get the phone back from a homeless man.
So what did you do after Ms. Heard informed you that she had thrown Mr. Depp's personal property off the balcony?
To use the Find My Phone app. I walked out onto the street, did not see the phone. I then asked several homeless people if they had the phone. One homeless man admitted to me that he had the phone, returned the phone to me in exchange for the following: $425 in cash, 3 chicken tacos, 2 bags of chips, 4 apples, 2 apples, 4 bottles of water.
And then we get to the poop gate. So if you guys aren't familiar with this, it's alleged that Amber Heard took a shit on Johnny's side of the bed as basically a fuck you to him for the maids to find later on. I feel so bad for the maids.
And did you have any discussions with Ms. Heard on the way to Coachella that evening?
We had a conversation pertaining to the surprise she left in the boss's bed prior to leaving the apartment.
And when you refer to the surprise in the boss's bed, what are you referring to?
The defecation.
And what did Ms. Heard say about the defecation in Mr. Depp's bed?
A horrible practical joke gone wrong.
But Starling Jenkins, this man took care of her when she got sick. Apparently he said that she was doing magic mushrooms and drinking wine.
And did you observe anything about Ms. Heard's health that weekend?
He was eating the magic mushrooms and drinking red wine on an empty stomach.
Excuse me, is that something you witnessed?
I witnessed it.
And what did you do in response to Ms. Heard being sick at Coachella?
I took her to the 7-Eleven where I retrieved hydrating fluids, Advil, and let her have those, got her back to the Parker, got her into the suite, and then went back to pick up everyone else. Yeah, she was throwing up.
Were you aware that Amber's sister Whitney threw up in a parking lot that weekend?
No.
Okay.
And so they're trying to allude to the fact that Starling Jenkins does not know the difference between Whitney and Amber Heard, or either got the two mixed up. And it wasn't Amber that got sick. It was Whitney that got sick.
Mr. Jenkins, moving to Coachella, Mr. Rottenborn asked you about Whitney Heard. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I do.
Do you know the difference between Whitney Heard and Amber Heard?
Yes, I do.
And who was sick that day?
One is the boss's wife, one is the boss's sister-in-law.
Who was sick that day at Coachella?
Amber was sick.
And let me reiterate, this guy took care of Amber Heard. He drove her to 7-Eleven, got her some medicine, got her some food just to sober her up or whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out the TikTok for a shorter format. And if you want to watch the trial with me live, I stream on twitch.tv/Corgi-san, and I can see you guys there. We'll watch it live together and play Elden Ring.
People were saying this is all about the money, but then you did something